Elon Musk has successfully paved a way to white South Africa farmers to come to United States of America. So he has successfully convinced Donald Trump that whites are not safe in South Africa. Okay. According to him recently what he tweeted himself, he said, Starlink is not allowed to operate in South Africa because I am not black. Starlink is not allowed to operate in South Africa because I am not black. Elon Musk, come on, man. You are playing the race card on South Africa. And because you are close to Donald Trump, you have successfully convinced him that indeed South African black are against the white, forgetting the entire the whole story of South Africa. Forgetting the entire old story of South Africa. That's the headline there. Elon Musk Starlink is not allowed to operate in South Africa simply because Elon isn't black. Absolute shameful. The media is running with that kind of story. And Donald Trump immediately, swiftly extended his hands to white South African farmers. According to him, he said, South Africa is being terrible. Plus, too long time farmers in the country. They are confiscating their lands and farms. And much worse than that, a bad place to be right now. And we are stopping all federal funding. To go a step further, any farmer with family from South Africa seeking to flee that country for reasons of safety will be invited into the United States of America with rapid pathway to citizenship. This process will begin immediately. That's coming from Donald Trump. He has opened a pathway to South Africa white farmers to come to America. Now, the question now is, will South Africa, because this is exactly what South Africa wants. But the thing is that the way they are going about it, we already know Elon Musk is not being entirely truthful when it comes to this. He's not being entirely truthful when it comes to this. Whites own majority of the lands in South Africa. So the question is, how did they acquire the land? Did they pay for it, or they took it by force from South Africa ancestors, from their forefathers? Did they pay for the land? Is there any legal document to show the origin and how they acquired that land? Let us ask the right question. We already know how South Africa went through apartheid. We know that. That is a story that we all know about. Because they recently here just got their independence. We already know that. Now, Elon Musk is now acting as the savior of white South Africa, playing the race game. And Donald Trump, of course, Elon Musk is one of the important member of his cabinet, and he listens well. Now, he is also saying that Starlink, his company, is not allowed to operate in South Africa because he's not black. Meanwhile, South Africa have strict laws. And according to this man, they said, and yet he met with South Africa president in New York last September to discuss investment opportunities in South Africa. Beyond just Starlink, and why we might debate SAB law and their requirement on foreign-owned operations in South Africa, and failed to be rebuked about it, this statement is just a brazen falsehood spread throughout X. It appears to be their modus operandi, and it also appears to be part of their brand because S is refuge with endorsed misinformation. South Africa has a law that, okay, if you are coming as a foreigner to invest in their country, that 30% of your company should be owned by South Africa, by indigenous South Africa. 30% of that company should be owned. Like the particular share in South Africa, 30% should be owned by South Africa, not your entire company, the branch. And Elon Musk, we don't know if he's South Africa now, but he was a South Africa. We don't know if he has denounced his South Africa citizenship. So I think that was one of the requirements as well. For him to come and establish this, he must allow a South African to own like 30% of what he wants to invest in South Africa. Someone said, Starlink is now allowed to operate in South Africa as long as it is agreed to 30% local ownership policies, which apply to all foreign companies that want to conduct business in South Africa. Now, let's not talk about the white. Let us go about the white South Africans, South Africa farmers. How many South Africa farmers are willing to migrate to South Africa? And is it just migrating? Shouldn't there be any means of relief, like assisting them to start up? Hmm? Assisting them to start up a business over there? Like Elon Musk should set up a fund that will push them a little bit. You understand? Create that will make them be able to buy a lot of farmlands in America so that they can do startup. Hmm? We don't know how the president is going to react to this in South Africa, but Donald Trump just outrightly called you guys out. Someone said South Africa has about 33,000 white farmers. The population of South Africa is 63 million plus, 15 million illegals. 33,000 farmers are feeding 77 million people in South Africa. Someone that though our stolen land finished the truth. So, how did this white farmer acquire those lands? Because majority of the farmlands in South Africa are owned by white. So how were they able to acquire those lands? That should be the question. How were they able to acquire those lands? Someone said, no one is attacking South Africa farmers. They are living happily here. No farm attacks. Someone is lying to you about the situation in our land, South Africa, which belongs to all black and white. Then another South Africa said, before Musk crosses his doorstep, he probably couldn't find South Africa on a map. Now he has a fellow racist to spread the disinformation. White farmers there will still hold over 80% of farmland. This is just one more acceptable bigoted moves. 100% beating zero will apply. Well, I don't know how they're going to do about it because this is a strong accusation coming from Donald Trump. And of course, you know who is behind it, Elon Musk. So I don't know how they're going to work about it because this is going to really hurt South Africa when it comes to, apart from farmers, you know, Donald Trump is saying It's a really bad place to be right now as a white person, directly speaking, because tourists, tourism also contribute massively to South Africa uh, GDP. So I'm not sure how it's going to. Most definitely, I'm not sure how it's going to affect that as well. If it's going to stop people from traveling down to South Africa for holidays, vacation. So let's see what will happen. What will be the response from the president Ramaphosa?